Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 187.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you're new here, say hi down below.
Now, here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday, we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch, where we just kind of talk about what's going on in our lives for the week.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way, every single time we have to call the live stream, you'll be alerted to it.
So welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch. This is supposed to be live. Unfortunately, at about 9:30 this morning, our internet went out.
Mysteriously.
We have 4 different hotspots. They're all seeming to connect, but we're not getting really good reception. Part of the problem that South Florida is encountering right now with cellular is with all of the phones down, the cellular networks are kind of like overloaded.
Right.
And so, I can't get good internet to stream. So we decided to call the live stream 10 minutes in, and we are now recording this, and we should be back live next Monday. Now, if you are new here, Keto Beyond the Couch is all about subscribers. It used to be called Keto on the Couch, but life exists beyond the couch when you're on keto.
So good. I'm so thankful for it. I feel like it's a victory every single time we say it, and I hope that you're living your best keto life beyond the couch as well.
Yeah, so we love to celebrate subscribers. We're going to go over some wins. Answer questions over the last week or two. It's just been a super hectic couple of weeks.
We had to bring our car, we were saying this morning, over to get an oil change. We have gone through 6,000 miles in about
a month.
I mean, that's crazy amount of travel, but we're thankful to be home. We're thankful we had all the opportunities to travel, and we're excited about sleeping in our own bed, though.
When you get baby chickens on Wednesday.
I know! Baby chickens are coming. I'm so stinking excited.
Are we vlogging you seeing the chickens for the first time?
Oh, absolutely, because this is a brand new relationship, right? It's brand new. They don't even know. They're probably being born today.
Yeah. Because they're supposed to ship out tomorrow. So they'll either ship out tonight or tomorrow, and we'll get them either tomorrow or Wednesday.
Happy birthday, all my chickie babies.
You got 6 coming. I hope you're ready for the names.
I'm ready.
Well, actually, don't name them so that we can eat them.
Should we name them like chicken nugget, chicken wing, that kind of thing?
Let's jump into Keto Beyond the Couch. We're going to start off with our Keto College Adjunct Professor of the Week. This is an inspirational post that we found this week over on our Mighty Networks. And it is from Shauna. Shauna said, "This says so much to me. Do not discount where you have been, as it has helped shape where you are going, decisions you make. You are beautifully and wonderfully made." And it's a meme that says, "Healing doesn't mean the damage never existed. It means the damage no longer controls our lives."
I love that so much. I'm so thankful for that reminder. And like we were saying earlier, we have a past. We absolutely have a past. And instead of beating ourselves up for it, I'm thankful for the opportunity to learn from it and move forward.
Right.
I mean, that is a powerful thing. And for us, our mess in the past, the things that we were so embarrassed of, the things that prevented us from actually living our life, now it's our message.
Yeah.
Right? Our mess is now our message. And I'm so thankful for that reminder. Thanks, Shauna.
So let's get into our Keto Subscriber of the Weeks. These were inspirational posts and posts for people who just have put up their success stories. We ask all the time, please share your story. Your story is so important for 2 reasons. Number 1, it helps you remember where you came from. We talk about tracking our progress in the form of photos, in the form of measurements, in the form of how we feel, different accomplishments we can make. But when you share your story, you let other people know they're not alone.
That's right.
When they read your story, there's someone out there right now thinks that nobody else knows what it's like, and then they're going to read your story, and somebody, just maybe one person, is going to read that and be like, somebody else gets it. And if they can do it, I can do it.
That's right.
So the first one we have is from Debbie.
Hey, Debbie.
Debbie said, I never took any before photos. I wish that I had, but this is my driver's license picture. I started last June and it slowed down a lot because of my surgeries, but this is about 90 pounds off so far.
Wow.
Yes, it's slow, but I figure it's a marathon, not a race. And it's more about how I feel than how I look at my age. My labs are better at almost 68. They are better than even at 30.
Wow.
My fibromyalgia, asthma, and diabetes are gone. My skin is clear for the first time in my life. I was able to sail through the Big C 3 times fairly easily, even though I'm very high risk. God has been good to me. I'm so grateful.
Debbie looks absolutely fantastic. I'm so stinking proud of you. I mean, 90 pounds is incredible, but I love how you have spotlighted your health. I mean, surviving the Big C 3 times, I mean, that is amazing, right? I mean, let's put into perspective what actually matters. And it is our health. It is the ability to bounce back from things. The fact that you've moved on past a lot of physical ailments. And then also, I really resonate with the whole, my skin is finally cleared up, because man, if you were somebody like me, probably like Debbie, that was, prone to skin infections and skin problems, it made living every single day very itchy and scratchy and embarrassing. It absolutely made it so that you could only wear certain clothes.
Right.
You had to cover up stuff because you were either embarrassed or it was uncomfortable. And I mean, just what a victory.
And that's the thing, that keto really does speak to better health, and it really helps us to get through our illnesses a lot better. I know that when we had the Big C,
right,
we had conversation with Dr. Barry, and he was like, you realize that if this had been 5 years ago, you would probably be dead.
I believe that's correct.
I totally believe that was true.
Same for my mom.
We were so sick 5 years ago, I don't know if we would have survived it.
Me neither.
Okay, the next one we have is from Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
Sarah said, I wanted to, in a progress update, I started Keto 2.0 July 5th, 2022. So it's been about 3 months. In that time, I'm down 2 sizes, cut my medications in half, and the doses of remaining medication in half. I'm no longer on metformin. I'm down to my blood pressure medication and 1 more. I also no longer suffer from disabling joint pains. I haven't taken measurements and don't plan to, as this is a weight optimization plan for me.
That.
Weight loss is the added benefit. For me, it's more about metabolic health. I have some blood work coming up next month that I can't wait to see my progress. I started my weight loss journey at a high of 295, which is the beach photo, and lost to 220 at one point following a different eating style called the Trim Healthy Mama and others. When I started Keto 2.0 in July, I was back up to 280 pounds, which is the polka dot skirt. And today I'm 245 in the pants picture. I'm down 35 pounds. This time I'm different. My attitude, my perspective, my why, my goals are all different. This time it finally feels like I will conquer my health battle. With that said, it's still hard and a lot of work.
Yes.
But it's hard the other way too. So I'm picking my hard, and this is it.
Oh, Sarah, I love that you are picking your hard, and this is it. I mean, first of all, 3 months to have that much of a change in your health is absolutely incredible. I mean, I think about all of the medications over the years that a doctor has prescribed to me and then told me, give it a month or 2 and see if you have any change at all. So a month or 2 to even see any little small amount of change.
Right.
You're just creeping through health momentum. 3 months, it's like your entire health goals have been overhauled.
Right.
And I love how you said that, your why is different. And that is something that I believe will speak to a lot of people out there. If you feel like you're not anchored in keto, if you feel like, man, I am wishy-washy, in and out, what am I going to do to be more strict and to be more all in? Change your why.
Right.
Your why may not be big enough, important enough, measurable enough for you to stick to it.
Right.
You've got to find that why to anchor to.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and take a quick fade to black to add a commercial, and then we'll come back with last week's comments.
You win. You win the week. I don't know what you're going to be facing in this week, but just understand you win. If you have a setback, it's halftime, but you're going to win the game this week.
I really like that. Where did you come up with that?
Just now. I mean, I'm like, what am I going to call? I'm calling it. This week is a winner.
Okay, let's get into the comments from last week. The first one is from Gabriel Paul's mom.
Hey, Gabriel Paul's mom.
Walk through a 100-year-old cemetery. If you made it past infancy, you most likely lived 90 to 100 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that's in reference to when people were asking last week about when we talk about eating primally, when we talk about eating ancestrally, they were like, well, they died early. But yeah, if you go through an old cemetery, you see a lot of people that lived to 80, 90, 100 years old if they got past those first few years.
It was like a baby section. And then there was usually like a lot of moms who died in childbirth. That was usually like the next compartment of people in these older cemeteries. And then, you had somebody, that had some real longevity to their life. And one of the things that I really love about an old cemetery is they usually don't just put from this date to this date. They actually write out this many years, this many days, and sometimes this many hours. And I think to myself, I need to be more cognizant of that. I need to be more intentional, that it's not just like your birthday is from year to year, but what about every day in between?
Right.
Are we living it to the fullest? And I love how some of those old tombstones record like every day counts.
I love that.
Me too.
Next one is from Sandy.
Hey, Sandy. I loved your talk at Ketopalooza. Thanks, Sandy. I used your You've Got Good in here with my class today. I had a student getting upset with an assignment. I had him stop and tell me something that he had good in there with the assignment. He told me what he was doing correctly. We worked together a few more steps, then he was able to go on. He replied, I've got good in here. Oh my goodness. First of all, Joe, you need to start preparing me for some of these comments that you're going to pull, but like that is our greatest desire, that you would not just see that there's good in here based on I ate correctly today or not, right? Because that is such a small part of you. There's good in you right now, so much good. Your family, your vocation, what you bring to the world. I mean, you are, as Shauna reminded us, fearfully and wonderfully made. There's good stuff on the inside of you. Thank you for sharing that with a child, because you never know how that is going to just impact their future. Whenever they have a struggle, they'll be able to go back to that little thing that you gave them today and remind themselves, even when I'm having a bad day or feel like I'm failing in an area, there's still good stuff in here. That's awesome. Great job.
Next one is from Rita.
Hey, Rita.
Rita said, I found out by doing beef, butter, bacon that my body prefers fat. I logged my food and I saw this for myself. I was also invited to dinner by a friend who bought a roast beef for me and fed everyone else beef stew.
Nice.
She's a great friend. This was a great challenge for me. My husband saw after 2 weeks the weight change, and he started in the middle of my challenge with me.
Wow.
We're also going an extra 2 weeks so he can catch up with me for 30 days.
Oh, Rita, that is so precious. What a nice thing. First of all, that was very nice to identify that you have a great friend.
Yes.
Great friends make you special meat.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Well, here's the thing, is like sometimes we talk about like we have friends that they're not helping us on our journey, that they, maybe sabotage us or they make fun of us. Then they're not real friends.
Right.
And it's time to move them to the outer circle. I'm not saying eliminate them from your friendship, but put them to the outer circle of your friend and then seek more people like this that are going to help us along in our journey.
And be like, this person's got my back.
Yeah. Next one is from TJ.
Hey, TJ. How do you both take your daily minerals? The taste is so bad, but if I do a shot, my stomach hurts almost immediately.
So, yeah, the daily minerals, not that great tasting.
No.
But they're really good for you.
Right.
First of all, you don't need to do the whole serving in a shot. Like, do it throughout the day. So just a little bit here and there. Some people put in their water, their coffee. We put a few drops in every one of our bottles of seltzer when we make our seltzer, and now it becomes almost like a San Pellegrino. And we cook with it. So when I make eggs, when I make steak, I just do a squirt on the top. and you don't taste anything because you're basically putting like a lot of salt and minerals in there, and the meat really absorbs it, and you don't get any kind of a taste from the daily minerals. And I found that's really, for me, the best way to get them in.
Yeah.
Some people put them into the bottom and slurp it up with a straw and just do it. I can't do that.
I get that tummy ache too, almost like I used to when I would like take a 1-a-day vitamin on an empty stomach. Like, it was not good. Very do not recommend.
Next one is from Beverly.
Hey, Beverly. I believe you could go to the most boring place in the world, and if Rachel is with you, it would be fun and interesting. Such an amazing attitude and smile. Thanks for cheering everyone on. Oh, Beverly, thanks for cheering me on. I appreciate that.
I figured you'd like that one.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and take a quick fade to black and come back with Facebook comments.
Stay on plan. Stay on plan this week.
First one is from Susan.
Hey, Susan.
Susan said, today is my birthday. This was from a couple days ago.
Nice.
Said it marks week 3 of following keto food choices. Today marks me being 57 years young and feeling super happy to be a part of this group.
Aww.
I'm celebrating this morning with a cup of really good dark roast brew bean with collagen peptides, heavy whipping cream, sugar-free pumpkin cheesecake, coffee syrup, and I'm about ready to make a 90-second bread for breakfast.
Hello.
Thank you, Joe and Rachel, for being you and having this wonderful page. I feel welcomed by family.
Aw, Susan, I'm so glad. I mean, we're definitely wishing you the best year yet.
Now, I did put this in here because we were supposed to be live and we would have sung happy birthday to Susan.
Right.
So I feel like we need to do that now.
Let's do it.
Happy
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Susan. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Okay, next one is from Gazilla.
Gisela? Good morning. On day 49 of Triple B and E, I didn't have as much success with the first 30 days as I thought I would, so I decided that maybe I needed some more time.
That's
Hello! Way to go. Lost about 8 pounds in the first 3 weeks, which I'm sure was water weight, and then steadily gained back 5 pounds since then. 0 inches lost. I have 1 coffee experience a day, no sweeteners, just a tablespoon of unflavored, unsweetened nut pod, 0 carb, absolutely 0 food items outside of Triple B and E, and I have 2 meals a day with no snacks at all. Discouraged because I've never been so strict. I definitely eat to hunger, and I can eat. So I do not think I'm under eating. Has anyone had a similar experience? I continue because I love not having to limit amounts, but I do track what I eat for data purposes. But I'm now starting to think that overeating could be a possibility. I joined the Dr. Berry Live last Monday and mentioned this too, and the suggestion was to track, which bummed me out too because I thought this was the way to eat and not worry about tracking. I've started taking daily minerals too. I don't have any medical issues and don't think I had any healing to do. Would love to hear what others in a similar situation have done.
First of all, congratulations. 49 days of beef, butter, bacon, egg is awesome. I do not believe you need to track. Some people may disagree with me. Dr. Berry does not generally talk about tracking. Sometimes we just have to heal our body. And, you can have a situation like, for example, Rachel, where you go from eating very little, which a lot of us have come into this way of eating that way, coming in eating 500, 1,000, 1,200 calories a day. And then all of a sudden you're eating good, healthy foods. And what ends up happening is it's going to take a little bit of time for our metabolism to adjust, to ramp back up. So that's one of the things that a reverse diet does, where you slowly add it in. But when you're eating that little, sometimes we just need to kind of go all in. I call it rip the Band-Aid off. Eat the right way. Deal with a couple of pounds of weight loss, of weight gain. It's going to come off, but continuing your way. So a couple of things that I would recommend as I'm going through this is, you're saying you're having 0 food items outside of beef, butter, bacon. I got 2 meals a day and no snacks at all, which I think is great.
Really good.
I would be curious, again, how much were you eating prior to beef, butter, bacon, and egg? One thing I do want to say, I'm not saying the nut pods are bad, but they're not 0 carb, regardless of what the label says. There's pretty much nothing out there that's really 0 carb. Meat actually even has some trace carbs, but it's almost immeasurable. But like heavy whipping cream, nut pods, I'm going to tell you to count that as 1 if you are counting. But just I don't ever like people thinking like, oh, it's zero carb. It's really not. Even spices aren't.
We can face
zero
it.
carb.
We can face the truth.
Just look at it. What I would suggest is, number one, maybe narrowing your eating window a little bit. So if you're having 2 meals, like one in the morning and one in the evening, maybe bring them closer together. Another thing you can try is early day eating. So eating breakfast and lunch and skipping dinner. A lot of people skip breakfast and eat lunch and dinner, but a lot of times our metabolism works better if we eat breakfast and lunch and then don't eat dinner, and do your time restricted eating from dinner time to breakfast or lunchtime to breakfast, and that's your closed eating window. As far as tracking, if you've now discovered after 49 days what feeling full is, you can just start cutting back a little bit. You don't have to start tracking everything, just cut back. The only thing I would do is make sure that you're getting in your electrolytes, because that could really impact stuff. Make sure you're getting enough sleep and that you're dealing with your stress, and movement. You want to do some movement. I'm not saying go to the gym for an hour a day, but do some movement. 80% of our health is what we put in our mouth. That is absolutely true. John Paul used to tell us abs are made in the kitchen, which they are. But 20% of your health journey is still movement, sleep, and stress. And we can have a spot-on diet. And I think our diet is pretty spot on. But if you're not handling the other 20%, you may not see a budge in weight once you've hit a certain point. And that's something that we're experiencing right now. That you've got 80%, we've got, I think, a perfect diet, but we're still working on movement, sleep, and stress.
Yes, because that's still a B and almost a C if you're only getting that 80%, right?
Next one is from Judy.
Hey, Judy. I usually don't post often, but I am so giddy today. Oh, that makes my heart just leap, Judy. My husband has been diabetic before I met him in 1997. He was using up to 210 units of Lantus a day. We gave up grains and sugars after hearing of William Davis. Even though that was enough to give up Lantus, he still had high A1Cs. His last test, June 6, was a 7.9. He is using metformin though. Started watching Ken Berry and those 2 Crazy Ketos videos. I learned a lot, and July 4th gave up most carbs by going carnivore. Today he did an A1C now test and was a whopping 5.6.
Metformin's not doing that.
Oh my Lord, it's working. Thank you to everyone here. We are booked for the cruise, and I cannot wait to meet the people who helped me learn how to save my husband's life. I am so in love with Rachel and Joe. Judy, we're so in love with you.
That's why we do this.
And your husband, and boy, that blesses me so much. As a wife, I want to be a good partner for this man. And there's been many times throughout our marriage where I would see him hurting. I would see him in pain. And it was so frustrating. I was so angry that I couldn't fix things for him. And I know that you felt the same way for me, especially through my mental illness journey, that it's like he wants to help me and I want to help him. And boy, if we can help to spread the word about what truly good nutrition can do in a body, I think that we can help so many, couples help one another to better health. And that's just so exciting. Thank you for sharing that.
Next one is from Suzanne.
Hey, Suzanne.
So does someone know a good video about making your own beef tallow?
We do enjoy making beef tallow.
We actually did it in a vlog at one point. I don't remember which vlog, but honestly, you don't need a video. We can make a video. If y'all are interested in making us a new video, like a standalone, how to render beef tallow, let us know down in the comments section. But making your own beef tallow is super simple. All you want to do is go get a whole bunch of beef fat. You can sometimes go to a local butcher and ask them, because they just throw all that stuff out.
Yeah, they're just trimming it off.
So you can say, hey, I need some beef fat. Can you give me some beef fat? And most of the time, they'll give it to you for free. You'll also see the same thing with chicken skin, by the way. If you want to do some chicken skin things, a lot of times you can go to a local butcher. Sometimes they're going to tell you, let them know ahead of time, because they immediately, in the garbage.
Right.
But if you say, hey, when you're doing your boneless, skinless chicken breast today, can you save me all the chicken skin? And then you go and you get it, and most of the time, again, it's free.
Or very cheap.
Get your beef tallow, or get your beef fat, and then what you're going to do is, the fastest way to do it is throw it in a Vitamix, or not in a Vitamix, in like a Cuisinart or food processor or something like that, and get it into mush. It is messy to do that, and because you're dealing with fat, so it's a pain to clean. Or if you don't want to bother with that, just put it on like a cutting board, chop it up as fine as you can, like at least chunks like maybe like that big. You're going to throw it into a good cast iron is going to be the best, like a heavy duty pot. You can even do this in an Instant Pot if you want, but sometimes it'll stick. You're going to turn it on low and you're just going to let that render down and melt and melt and melt. I'm going to advise you to do it outside if possible.
Because it can get kind of stinky.
Because it smells.
Yeah.
And you're just going to render that stuff down for several hours. I've done it for as long as like 7, 8, 10 hours.
My mom has done it where you just get a single burner and she'll put it on.
That's what I do. I put it outside on the patio. Once you're all done, first of all, there's going to be some floating pieces of meat in the top. Don't throw those out. Those are like delicious. Scoop them out and eat them as a snack. The rest of it, you're going to pour it through like a cheesecloth or some kind of strainer, and then you can put it into molds and you have delicious beef tallow. But honestly, it's just a low process of rendering down that fat.
Yeah, it's an all-day thing.
Next one is from Jerry.
Hey, Jerry. New to the group and new to keto. Well, welcome, Jerry. I've eased into keto the past 5 weeks. I'm not doing keto to lose weight, but to maintain and improve high cholesterol and reduce inflammation from arthritis. I'm tracking my macros and have only gotten to 50% of my daily protein allowance and generally 40 to 50% for fat each day. My calorie intake is considerably less than I burn because I walk 3 miles a day, 6 days a week, and exercise in the pool for an hour, 3 days a week. I'm trying to increase my fat with, like, for example, butter in my coffee. Well, actually butter on just about everything. And I eat a lot of meat and fish. Carbs are easy because of all my veggies. I'm looking for suggestions to increase my protein and fat. Let me add, I'm stuffed after each meal and I'm never hungry enough for a snack. Thanks in advance for any helpful input.
Awesome. Okay, Jerry, a few things. First of all, let's not worry about macros. Let's not eat to macros. You talk about carbs are easy because they're veggies. There's no essential carbs. If you've got a carb limit for yourself for 20 or 30 total carbs, and if you only get 5, that's
Great.
fine. The less carbs you get, the better. People ask us, how many carbs should I eat? As few as possible.
Yeah.
So there's not like you have to hit 20 carbs. If you understand oxidative priority, your body is going to burn carbs before it gets to fat. So the more carbs you give your body, then that's the longer it's going to take to get to the fat. As far as the rest, I without knowing what your macros are, it's kind of hard. But I will say, don't use, like, I love my Apple Watch, and I know people love their Fitbits, and they say, you burn 2,000 calories. Ignore that.
Right.
Okay, just ignore it. What you want to do is at least find out what your basal metabolic rate is, if possible. But even those times, like if you get a DEXA scan, it's going to say, this is your BMR. It doesn't know what your metabolism's like. That's just based on how much fat and how much lean mass you have. I would say eat an extra meal if you can. And if you are really low, try to get a third meal in. Don't worry about intermittent fasting as much. But you do want to try to get in at least 100 grams of protein and 100 grams of fat per day and then work from there. I think that's the low end. That really is the low end. And that's somewhere around 1,500 calories.
My mom had a similar issue because she was so used to like having a lot of girth in her meal when it came to vegetables. And so one of the things that she did was just start eating the meat first, especially if you fill up quickly. So eat your meat, like prioritize the meat and the fat, and then if there's any more room left in your stomach, that's when you can turn your attention over to those vegetables.
I would even recommend going as far as eliminating the vegetables for at least one meal a day.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I'm not saying there's anything bad about vegetables, but they're not as good for us as everybody thinks because there's antitoxins in them. Unless you are getting your vegetables from a regenerative farm or you are growing them yourself in land that you have gotten manure and have your own worms and you know that the vitamins are being put and the nutrients are being put back into that soil, like not growing in the same piece of land every single year.
Right.
They don't have the nutrients that we think they do. The best place to get your vitamins and nutrients is going to be from your meat. If you eat beef, or ruminant animals, liver, and salmon roe, you will get more vitamins and nutrients than you can get from any plant out there.
Yeah.
And a lot more and more bioavailable. So like Rachel said, I would definitely take your plate, put more meat on it, fatty meat, okay, so ribeyes, bacon, things like that. You want to eat fatty meat and then maybe add a little bit of butter, especially if you want to have more fat than protein, and put the vegetables off to the side. After you stuff yourself on meat, if you go, hey, I kind of want a vegetable, eat that. But don't start off with a salad. Don't start off with broccoli. You want to get all of the meat eaten first and then see. And I would rather you eat 2 more eggs and not eat any broccoli because you're going to get more vitamins, more protein, more fat that way.
Yeah.
Next one is from Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Chris said, my daughter Megan, 26, drove with me to Keto Palooza. Yeah, we caravanned with them.
It was so fun.
She said she hasn't had much interest in keto, even though I know it would help her. But I asked her to attend just one speaker session at the conference, and she picked Joe and Rachel since she got to meet them on the way up. She really enjoyed their talk. During the trip, she'd been cutting down on carbs without realizing it. Almost the whole weekend, she was eating what I did. Brisket, pulled pork, steak. She decided to not get mashed potatoes and even bread at the Brazilian steakhouse so no one at the table would get triggered.
Oh, that was nice.
That's a good friend.
Yeah.
Well, fast forward to the trip back, and she had a realization. Normally on long car rides, her ankles will swell up and she'd be in pain, but not this trip. She told me she's decided to try ketovore since she doesn't like veggies when we get home. Without prompting by me, she cleaned out all of her carby food and got rid of it the day we got back. She got on the scale for the first time in months for a baseline, and now is really excited about starting this journey. Wow. So if you have a family member or someone else close to you who needs this, maybe just bringing them into the community or to a conference could help them make a decision on their own.
I love that. Like, first of all, we're rejoicing with you, Chris and Megan. Like, we're so stinking excited because, you know, we want you to feel good. And especially like Megan has to do a lot of driving. So I want every single day of her life not to feel, you know, like pain in her legs and joints and stuff because of the job that she does, you know, like that's going to be important for her to feel good at work. But yeah, I know that there's so many people out there who've reached out to us and like, what can I do to help this friend or family member that I love so much, you know, come to keto? A lot of times, you know, our journey may not be enough for them. Like, you know, we know each other. I think that outside of my father passing away, if I had just brought this to my mom, not in that moment of grief, I don't know that she would have done it, to be honest. You know, for the most part, I think that we would have faced a powdered butt syndrome. Like, you can't teach me new things. So, bring them to the keto community. Get involved in community. You know, friendship, when you're surrounded by people that care about you and you care about them, you stop looking at like, hey, I'm missing out on a certain, you know, carby food. I'm just enjoying the fellowship. And it looks like they're eating stuff and I'll eat this stuff too. Right. You know, it can be very encouraging to just become part of the keto community and then stay for the food.
Yeah.
How about that?
While we're on the subject of Chris, I do want to mention, if you are in Florida, Chris is organizing a Two Crazy Ketos meetup mid-January.
The 14th.
Reach out to her over on our Mighty Networks group. You can find that at members.twocrazyketos.com. It is completely free to join. Some people do choose to do a $5, a $10, or a $25 level to support us because we don't use Patreon anymore. But reach out to her. Go join the free group. Send her a message. Hey, I'm interested. She's looking for a head count. We're trying to decide. We're probably going to do it like in the Orlando kind of area, which is pretty much central to everybody. And if you live in Orlando or near Orlando, hey, even better for you. But we are looking to do that mid-January, and she's trying to figure some things out. She might even need some help. So if you're looking to help somebody, if you want to join in and really help organize it and make it a big event, we would really appreciate it, and I'm sure Chris would appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Next one we have is from Gail.
Hey, Gail.
Can too much protein affect ketones? I've been in ketosis for about 2 weeks. Yesterday, I know I ate too many grams of protein versus fat. This morning, I'm out of ketosis. On beef, butter, bacon, egg, and I'm obsessive about it, LOL. So no significant carbs. Okay, so first of all, let's get this out of the way. You're not out of ketosis.
Right.
Okay, your body is using fat for fuel. Your body is using ketones for fuel. If you're not eating carbs, your body has to turn to fat for fuel.
No choice.
Now, will your body create glucose? Yes. Your body's going to create glucose when it needs it. There is a little bit of glucose your body needs, but it's going to create it. And it can create it from, yes, protein, yes, muscle, but also fatty acids. So it's going to create it even if you're eating only fat. If you want to have more ketones, you can increase your fat a little bit. But you're not going to have any significant damage eating extra protein one day.
Right.
We love the owners of Keto Mojo, but don't live and die by that meter. Okay? The meter can really become a scale thing for some of us, and we've been that way. Just eat no carbs or very low carbs and don't worry about it. Now, if you need a lot of ketones because you're doing this for like brain function, maybe trying to work with mental illness or epilepsy or cancer or something like that, that's where you need to really try to have higher ketones, and you're going to do that by increasing fat more, maybe using MCTs, things like that. You don't necessarily have to lower the protein. You have to increase the fat. That is what I want people to take away. Don't lower your protein to ridiculously low amounts. Your body needs protein. We said it earlier. My belief is a minimum of 100 grams of protein to 100 grams of fat, and then increase fat from there. But I think that is the minimum that most of us should be having. We should be having a minimum of 100 grams of protein. Now, if one day it's 80 and one day it's 110, that's fine. Don't worry about it. But don't focus on the meter. Just keep eating beef, butter, bacon, and egg. Make sure you're maybe doing a little bit of time restricted if you worry about it. Don't snack. And then increase the fat. Next one is from Beth.
Hey Beth, is there a reason that my A1C would go up from 5.6 to 5.9? I've been strict ketovore since January and triple B&E for 11 days prior to yesterday's test.
Dr. Berry has been talking about this a little bit. I don't think it's a significant jump, personally. There's a lot of things that can affect that test. We've been talking recently, we mentioned on the live stream the other day, I think the A1C test is a bit antiquated at this point. It was a great way to look at what was your average glucose over that 3-month period. But now that we have CGMs, I think that is a better way to look at things. We've talked to Dr. Berry about that, and we were talking to Dave Feldman when we were in Orlando. I think that CGMs are a better way to go. But one of Dr. Berry's theories that he was talking about is that when you are eating mostly meat, when you're eating like a carnivore diet or beef, butter, bacon, egg, some people are seeing a little bit elevated A1C, but his belief and his theory is that your red blood cells are actually living longer, thus changing that up. But it could be a little bit of a margin of error on the test. There's a lot of things that could be affecting that. I would tell you to continue eating beef, butter, bacon, egg, continue eating mostly meat. I mean, Dr. Sean Baker's talking about his A1C is 6.3. Do you think he's worried about it? The man only eats meat.
Right.
He's not a diabetic.
No.
Right? So, I mean, that's one of the things that we look at with an A1C test. Like, are you diabetic? If you're not eating carbohydrates, it's going to be pretty difficult to be a diabetic. Again, we're not doctors, nurses, or health professionals.
No, I'm not even a real referee.
No, you're not.
This is just a Halloween costume.
So, but you can go check out people like Dr. Baker and Dr. Berry, Dr. Sivas, and they all talk about these issues. Next one is from Ann.
Hey Ann. So I continued the triple B&E from the September challenge. So today is day 40. I lost 19.6 pounds. Started at 208.8, now 189.2. Welcome to Wonderland,
That's awesome.
Ann. Is this too fast of a weight loss? I'm usually one meal a day, but if I feel hungry, I will eat an additional meal. I eat till I'm full. I was keto for 4 years prior to this challenge. My ketone levels have been a 3.0 to a 5.8. I feel fine. I just know that when I started keto, my weight loss was a lot slower.
So, Ann, I don't want to say that it's too fast. I mean, 20 pounds in 40 days, it's above average.
Yes.
A lot of it's going to depend on how much are you eating. Are you eating much less than you were before? At that point, you might want to increase because if you're eating way under your basal metabolic rate, you could end up slowing down your metabolism a bit, and then you're going to hit a stall, and it's going to be very, very difficult. And that's things that we've encountered personally. And I would also judge that based on your ketone levels, that with them being that high, you may not be eating quite enough food. At the same point, if you're full, don't worry about it. You can also be looking at, like, maybe when you were doing keto, and again, there's not a lot of information here, but when you were doing keto, like, where was your carb level? Were there a lot of, like, hidden carbs? Were you eating a lot of keto products?
Right.
Were you eating a lot of sugar alcohols? A lot of keto breads that aren't really keto breads? If you eliminate all that stuff, it really can change things around.
I was just thinking that, take a look at what you have eliminated, start writing down, in a journal of some sort, what are some things that you've eliminated, and how much did you used to eat? What quantity of this before? And then as you come out of Triple B and E, make sure that you're taking a look at what you are reincorporating.
Yeah. We have one more. It's from Claire.
Hey, Claire.
Claire said, we can only do the best we can with the information we have at the time. Remember not to get down on yourself about the nutrition information you used to think was right versus what you know now. Hashtag keto evolution. With a meme from Maya Angelou, it said, I did then what I knew how to do. Now that I know better, I do better.
That is such a precious reminder. You're right. We have got to forgive ourselves for the past, especially if you have cooked for another person in your life. There was so much guilt that Joe and I had emerging, out of the standard American diet, and thinking back to, oh my gosh, our children's entire childhood, we were giving them garbage. At the time, we didn't know to what extent this was garbagey, right? I mean, there were times that we were like, hey, the budget had to come over, some of the nutrition. I mean, I definitely knew we were leveraging a lot of things like rice and pasta to provide girth, because it was expensive in the past. And so we felt a tremendous amount of guilt for that. Now that we know better, we do better.
Right.
I think about, as we're going into the end of this week, we're going to have a baby shower on Saturday. And what we were purchasing as food for this baby shower, everything that we're bringing, for the most part, can help somebody to feel better. It's good nutrition, right? So we are doing better moving forward. Christmas this year is going to be unapologetic. We're going to provide good food for our family during the holiday season, so we can do better now, but it's only because we know better now.
Yeah. Well, that is going to be the end of this week's Keto Beyond the Couch. Again, we are so sorry that we weren't able to live stream it. It's better to do it this way than have like a whole bunch of choppy live streams.
Yes.
And then we can't celebrate people's wins the way we want to, answer questions, things like that. So hopefully, with the internet, we'll be back to normal, and we will have a live stream on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Depending on how our week goes, maybe we can throw another surprise live stream in somewhere during the week. Also, I did want to remind everybody we're gearing up for our 11 on 11 campaign, where we live stream for 11 straight hours on November 11th, so long as we have internet.
Y'all need to start praying now, because for real ski, that's 11 hours of and I get very nervous when we have to live stream now because of all these internet issues. So 11 straight hours, but make sure that you are sending pictures and stories of your loved one who have served in the armed forces, because we want to celebrate them. So you're going to send it to a special email that we've created just for 11 on 11, and it's going to be the number 11 on 11, the number 11 at twocrazyketos.com.
Yeah. So send that to us so that we can celebrate all day long. We're going to try to read stories about our subscribers, family members. We're going to try to get a few special guests and raise awareness for veterans issues. So if you like seeing videos like this, take a look at some of the videos we have linked right over there. Also, make sure you take a look at the most recent video that I'm going to put right over here.
But whether you head this way or you head this way, don't forget to head this way. Subscribe to our channel and click the little bell icon, and that way every single time we keep going, you'll be alerted to it.
Until next time.
Bye.